Here we go. Let me share my live out. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Flourish and Tresses. Over here, I just usually do my hair. So I have made it a point to come live when I am doing my hair routine or doing things in my hair routine. So yeah, when I come live, I always have something to talk about. So today, while I am talking about my topic, I will be removing the front of my mini braids. So I've had these mini braids in my hair of a total of probably a little over a month now. So I just redid the back of my hair. I just redid it. I just did a live that I finished my last roll out, and I am starting a new video and I am redoing the front of my hair now. So what I've got out so far is this right here. So after I talk about my new story, then I will be removing at least one row of my hair. So when you are removing any type of protective style, you need to make sure that you use conditioner and or oil. So the conditioners that I will be using today to help me remove my mini braids is the Lester's S Curl No Drip Curl Activator. I will be using this liquid conditioner. I will also be using this Aunt Jackie's Curl and Coils Coconut Cream Recipes Buttercream Intensive Moisture Sealant. I will be using this right here to help me, and I love, love, love this cream. And then for my oil, I have my Camille Rose Cocoa and Nibs and Cocoa Nibs and Honey Ultimate Strength Serum. So this is what I'll be help use to help me to remove my mini braids. So I'm going to talk about the news story, and then I'm going to give my opinions and my thoughts on the news story because I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on this particular news story. And while I give my thoughts and opinions, I will be removing one row, at least one row of my hair. All right, so this story was reported on July 25th, 2026. A Baltimore woman is fighting a $228,000 water bill. Baltimore woman's $228,000 water bill dispute deepens after DPW admits HOA manages account. Baltimore WBFF, a Baltimore woman, says she's still being held responsible for a more than $228,000 water bill tied to her entire neighborhood. Despite a new statement from the city's Department of Works acknowledging that the account isn't managed by her. Thank you for liking the live. If you just joined the live, please make sure that you like the live. And please make sure that we are sharing the live out as well. All right. 4 months. Christina Moore and her realtor Lisa, I'm going to mess this name all up. Shafoni, I think that's how you pronounce it. Lisa Shafoni have been trying to determine why the debt remains attached to Moore's property, which is located in the Springwood Estates community, a neighborhood comprised of 37 homes in Northeast Baltimore. We requested bills when we were there in person. I requested bills from Zeke Cohen's office because they said they would help us. Moore said, I spent hours on the phone with DPW. Nobody will give me bills when they're telling me my property is being held liable for this whole bill. Moore says she inherited the home from her late father in February. Since then, she says the outstanding balance has prevented her from selling the property. You're holding her accountable, but you can't set us down at a table with who you're talking to say why you keep giving this burden to her, Shafoni said. With no help in sight, the pair turned to Fox 45. After a week of pressing city officials for answers, Fox 45 received a new statement from the Baltimore City Department of Public Works. DPW said it is limited in what it can discuss publicly because the matter involves specific customer accounts. However, the department also acknowledged that the community reference uses a master meter system and that the Homeowners Association, HOA, is responsible for managing the community's water account with DPW. Questions that I guess Fox 45 asks. Hello, R Clock. How are you? Thank you for being here. If you have not liked the live, please make sure that you like the live. And if you already like the live, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. If the HOA manages the account, why is the $228,000 lien attached to Moore's property? Question one. Question two. Does BPW believe Moore is legally responsible for the debt? Question three. Has DPW investigated whether the billing arrangement is appropriate? Question four. What is DPW doing to resolve the issue? Hi, Noel. How are you? Thank you for being here. Fox 45 also asked DPW to identify any law preventing it from answering those policy questions. The department has not responded. I mean, they just are jamming it down her throat and saying, you got to pay for it. That's just not legally right, Shafoni said. Fox 45 also continues to seek answers from the office of Baltimore City Council President Zeke Cohen. Emails obtained by Fox 45 showed that a senior advisor initially told Moore in May that the HOA had provided the documentation needed to set to get the lien off the property. In July, the office later informed Moore that a payment plan had been approved and that the lien will remain in place until the full balance is paid. Good morning, Noel. Fox 45 asked Cohen's office to explain the change, whether the council president believes the outcome is appropriate, and requested an interview. Those questions have now gone unanswered for more than a week. Most recently, Fox 45 reached out to Moore's own city council representative, Danielle McCrae, asking that the same questions and requesting an interview, but again, we have yet to hear back. We've we've never asked for a lien to be done away with or released. We're asking for the water meter address to go back to the HOA. And if that happens, that whole amount goes on the HOA instead of just her, Shafoni said. Among all the questions left to be answered, Moore and Shafoni say they keep coming back to just one. How would city leaders how would city leaders respond if this were happening to them, to a loved one, or to your personal residence? Will you assume responsibility for 37 houses? That just seems the most common sense question for anyone. Last week, DPW also to Fox 45, it said also to Fox 45 it will contact more directly to help resolve the matter. Moore says she has not yet heard from the department. This story, I have so many thoughts, so many thoughts. I'm gonna clip this to my shirt, and I hope that I can still be heard. All right, my first thoughts are: I am a part-time conspiracy theorist. Let me say that, and I really hate this system. I hate this system. How we have to pay for everything, everything we have to pay for everything. And I feel like water is something that we should not have to pay for because water is free. Water is free. Now, I do understand that there is a process how water is what's the words I'm looking for? Filtered in the whole water system and the water plant, and I do understand that sense of it. I do understand, and I do understand that somebody has to pay for that. Okay. But I just feel like it should be another way. It should be another way. Like water is free. Like in some states, I don't think Maryland is one state. In some state, you it's illegal for you to collect rainwater. Illegal. Now, like I said, I am a part-time conspiracy theorist. So I don't think that it would be healthy for you to collect rainwater because we don't even know what is in the rain, what's in the clouds, what are they doing? We have no idea. But I digress. Um, I really don't think that there should be a price on water. I really, really don't. Like I feel so strongly about that. And this water bill issue is a really big issue. It is a really big issue. Um, I can think back into being in an apartment. I remember when I was in an apartment, this was years and years ago, over 10, 20 years probably. I remember living in an apartment, and I remember back then it was like, okay, it was a thought of like, if you live in a house, you have to pay a water bill, but if you live in an apartment, you have to pay a water bill. Well, I remember living in an apartment, and I remember I had to pay for a water bill. And the way how they do water bills in apartments, at least when I was in an apartment anyway, it was ridiculous. So basically, the water bill is not broken up into different. It's not broken up. It's just one water bill, one big water bill that they send to the apartment complex or whatever. So the apartment complex kind of like divides the water bill into like what each tenant's supposed to pay or whatever. Now, back then, the water bill was actually not really a bad issue because the water bills in Maryland that I know of or whatever, they were due every 3 months or whatever. And every 3 months, it was like a little small amount. I remember like 40, $60 or whatever, if it was even that much or whatever. And that was doable. It was doable. It was great. So then I remember after apartment, then I started renting houses or whatever and everything. And I remember moving into one house, and there was a water bill. Like they put it in the lease that you have to pay the water bill when you pay everything else. Like one of the things that they put on the tenant is that the tenant has to pay the water bill, which is no problem. Um, it's no problem, but I just it's like, okay, you gotta pay your water, you gotta pay your rent, you gotta pay your water bill, you gotta pay your gas and electric bill. Like you still gotta pay buy food and anyway. So all right, that was no problem, and the water bill seemed at that time seemed a little bit doable. Then I remember moving into another house, and I remember when I moved into this house, um, the landlord didn't really make it clear about the water bill or whatever. And then probably like a couple months passed or whatever. And then the landlord said something about the water bill. So I'm like, okay, well, nobody never even told me like how I'm supposed to pay this water bill. Because when you are living in like a house, when you are renting a house, the water bill comes goes to the property management or the owner's address or whatever. So for tenants to have to pay the water bill, it seems a little bit unfair to me. Like, okay, all right, gas and electric. Like when you move into a place or whatever, you gotta get gas and electric in your name. Okay, okay, that's my bill. But this water bill is not in my name, but it's in the owner or the property management name. But I'm still responsible for paying this water bill. But I don't see a bill. I don't get to see a bill or whatever. The bill goes to the owner or the property manager, but I'm still responsible to pay this bill. Okay, all right, whatever. All right, so then, like, okay, so the landlord reached out to me and, said something about the water bill. It's been a couple months or whatever. And I'm like, well, there was no direction given how I'm supposed to pay this water bill. Like it said in the lease, the tenant is responsible for the water bill and utilities and blah, 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 blah. But there was no directions in the lease to say, how am I supposed to pay this water bill? Because the water bill does not come to my house, it comes to your house. So how am I supposed to pay this water bill? So then the landlord gave me direction and said basically you can go online and you can pay the water online. Like I never had a water bill, so like okay, all right. So now I'm going above and beyond or whatever. So I goes online and come to find out we had only been there about 2 to 3 months, and the water bill was already like it was like in the hundreds. Like I think it was like almost $1,000. And I'm like, this can't be true because we just moved in here. We just moved in here. So I contacted the landlord, like, okay, you had a water bill previously on this house. Now, I think that there should be something done about landlords renting out houses with water bills already attached to the house. Like, if you're going to make me pay this water bill, clear the water bill. Clear the water bill. The water bill should already been paid before I even moved in. Now you're telling me about a water bill, but you haven't even paid the water bill that was attached to it before I moved in. So that kind of upset me. But I reached out to the landlord, and the landlord took care of it. He paid the water bill. The water bill was paid, and then we were left to pay our portion of the water bill. Okay? All right. So also on the owner side of the water bills, I don't think it's fair that you can own a house. You could pay. Thank you for the love. Thank you so much. If you have not liked the live yet, please make sure that you like the live. I don't think it's fair that you can own a house or whatever. You could be paying a mortgage on the house and all of this or whatever, and you could have been paid your house off. Your house could be paid off, but you can actually lose your house due to an unpaid water bill. How is that fair? How is that fair? Like I didn't spend all this money, 2,000, 3,000, 300,000. I'm sorry, 2,000, 3,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, $1 million. I didn't pay all this money into this house. And you're telling me because of an unpaid water bill, I can now lose my house. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. Now I understand in a portion of paying the water bill. I totally understand that because of the process of the water and the water plants and everything that has to be done and the workers working at the water plant. I understand that. Okay, we gotta pay for a water bill. Okay, whoop-de-doo. We gotta pay a water bill. All right, great. But to say that my house is at risk of I'm at risk of losing my house because of unpaid water bill. Wow, that is absolutely absurd. I can't even say the word. It's ridiculous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I didn't do all of this, pay my house off, and then okay, what if I'm not here no more? My kids inherit the house, as in this situation right here, and you telling me I got to lien on this house that I inherited it because the water bill is not paid. Now in this situation, this is above just a water bill. This is above a water bill. You're talking about this is a water bill for the whole community. And the HOA is responsible for it. And I don't understand. What I don't understand is how did this one house, this one address get responsible for the whole water bill in the whole community? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. HOAs. Let's talk about HOAs because I am in the process of going through everything to own my own home for the first time because renting is just not for me anymore. It's just too many crooked landlords. It's too much. It's too many landlords that don't care about tenants, that only think about money, that don't care about your well-being, your safety, and then far as like the city or whatever, and the places that put in place to supposedly help the people, whatever, they don't care either. Like I done been through a bunch of I could go on, I could talk for days on the crap that I done been through far as renting and the city and all of I done been through a lot of crap and I'm just sick of it. I am absolutely I'm done. I'm absolutely when I tell you I'm done, I am done. It's not worth it. Nobody, and when I say nobody cares, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So therefore, like I won't be renting anymore. I will not be renting anymore. So I am in the process of owning my own home. Even that is a whole scam in itself. Because like I said, if you do all this, you pay your mortgage and you own your home, you can lose your home over a water bill. And I think that's ridiculous. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in the process of owning my own home. Um, I am getting some things straight and everything. And yeah, that's what I'm in the process of. So knowing that I've been researching a lot of stuff. I've been researching loans and communities and houses and all types of stuff. And one of the things that I have started researching is HOAs. So before going through this process, I never knew what an HOA is. I never heard of it, knew what it was. So a HOA is the homeowners association. So basically, in a community or whatever and everything, they elect certain people, whatever, to be in charge of the HOA, and they have meetings or whatever. The general purpose of the HOA, it seems really, really nice to me. It seems like a very good thing. So if you go into communities and the whole community is immaculate, every lawn is mowed, there's no trash on the ground, like everything is just beautiful, whatever. Most likely that is a HOA community because the HOA is put in place to make sure like the community is great or whatever. And I think that's a good thing. I love areas like that. Where the HOA kind of loses me at is when you say things like, well, you can't do modifications to your house unless you go through the HOA. Like, what? So you mean to tell me I bought this house, I'm paying a mortgage or whatever have you, and I want to do things to my house. I can't do nothing to my house. I got to go through the HOA first? That's crazy. You can't do stuff to the outside of your house unless you go through the HOA. The HOA, if you don't pay like your fees and stuff into the HOA, they can um they can um they can basically get you out of your house basically. They can have a meeting and basically remove you from your house that you paid for. Like, yeah, I think that aspect of it of a HOA is really ridiculous. um when I'm doing research looking at houses and stuff and looking at comments and stuff of houses, everybody say the same thing. Is this an HOA community? If it's an HOA community, I don't want it. No HOA communities. Because yeah, it sounds like they can make your life, like the comments that I've heard, like yeah, they said yeah, having an HOA is a living hell, basically. So now when I look for houses and I go out to see houses and everything, one of the things I make sure that I ask the realtor, is this an HOA community? Because I definitely don't want to be in an HOA community because I refuse to be owning a home of my own and have to be told by association, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that or this, that, and the third. Like I don't want it. I don't want it. They can keep it. So in this story, it's crazy because like I just want to know how did the how did they come up with putting the water bill onto one address? How did they come up with this? And then furthermore, like this here's the unfair system of it all. The unfair system of it all. So DPW, they know that all this is going on, and because it's a unique situation, like why would they put a lien on this lady house? Like this ain't her bill. When I heard $228,000 water bill, I'm like, how does the water bill even get that high? Like I didn't even think that was possible. I really ain't think that was possible for a water bill to get that high. But then when I read further into it and they said it's a water bill between 36, 30, no, 37, I'm sorry, 37 homes. Like, so why would they put a lien on her house? If they know that this is 37 houses together, like why would you do that? That's absolutely ridiculous to me. Like this system, man, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Like I really can't believe it. So hopefully, hopefully she gets it resolved and everything. Hopefully she gets it resolved and something comes out of it, and they take that lien off of the house, because it shouldn't be no lien. If that's the cause of the lien, then that lien need to come off of that house, because like $228,000, like that's insane. That's absolutely insane. And then for them to say, "Oh well, you just gotta wait." Then she said she can't even sell a house. She can't even sell a house. So you already going through something because your dad died. Anytime lose a loved one, you already going through it. You already going through it, and then to be pushed, have to worry about this issue. She probably trying to sell a house because it's probably too many memories in that house, and I understand. And she can't even sell a house because of a $228,000 water bill. That the water company know, like they know that this ain't just solely her water bill. Unfair. Absolutely unfair. Ridiculous. So I hope, man, bro, man, pop. I hope that they resolve this issue. Because it's not right. It's not right. It's totally not right. $228,000. Like I know she probably fainted when she seen that bill. Like what in the world? Who used $228,000 worth of water? And then the fact that she couldn't even get no answers through the bill, she had to call and stay on the phone. Like I tell you, boy, these people is absolutely ridiculous to me. Like the stuff that we gotta go through, it's just insane. So yeah, those that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on that story. Mm, 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 mm. Oh my goodness, my hair is matted up. Oh my goodness. Oh. Mm-mm. Jesus. See, that's why I say you should not have braids in longer than 1 month. Mm-mm. It's just webbing. Mhm. Whew, Lord. All right. I guess I gotta take this off here now. There you go. Mm-mm. Oh my goodness. Just wow. Mm, mm, mm. I do not understand. See, I don't see how people leave their hair in for 4 and 5 months. Well, I used to. I'm not even gonna lie. I used to, and I didn't have no hair either, cause the buildup is crazy. Until my hair start webbing together. Like I don't. I really don't understand. All right, we got one more. One more in this row. Yep. Mm-mm. Yeah, well, I got one more right there. I thought I was. Oh man, is that one? Yeah, I think that is one. Yep. I thought I was on my last one. How long? Let me see. 40 minutes. Not bad, not bad. Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, that's my last one. Now it's my last one. Hey, I really, really love this brush. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. My hair definitely growing. Definitely growing. Mm, Um, I'm rubber banding my hair off to keep it stretched out because I have a bug flying around. Because what I've noticed about my hair, naturally I have 4C hair, but my hair is relaxed. But when it's not stretched out, it tends to get matted up and um tangled. So when I put the rubber bands in my hair, it kind of keeps my hair stretched out so it don't get too matted and too tangled. So when I come back on live, I will be live again on Wednesday. I'll take this part out and then I'll start on this part. Um, I don't know what I'm going to talk about Wednesday. I have no idea, but I'm sure I'll find something to talk about. So I'm just rubber banding my hair back off to keep it stretched out. I don't think I'm gonna make it an hour. I don't think I'm gonna make it an hour. All right. I got so much done today. I might. How long is that? That's like 10 minutes. I guess I can make it an hour. I guess. I guess. All over. Okay. You okay? So smoky. I sprayed some hairspray a little while ago. You right? Yeah, I'm on the live. You fine? Are you okay? I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Yeah, I got like 9 minutes. All right. 8 minutes. All right, I got some new books. This is my content book. This is the book that I put all my like stories and ideas and stuff. Sometimes I do a little schedule for myself, and it is totally filled up. Totally. So I have some school supplies for my son coming soon. So I'm gonna take one of them books for myself. And my first story in this book was about um the podcaster that was scamming the unemployment system, and his name was Rich and Unemployed. Oh Lord, that was my first story in this book, and then oh, that was the story. Then I talked about the Baltimore City inspector that was taking bribes from, was taking money to pass people inspections. Talked about that. And then I talked about oh, that's the same story. Then I talked about an 18-year-old that was caught. Oh, for excessive speeding, but he was posting videos up onto TikTok. I talked about that. And then my 4-year anniversary on YouTube, and I'm not monetized yet. I talked about that. Okay, shout outs. This was a schedule. I guess I can show this. This was a schedule. It's backwards, can't see it, but whatever. I was like my live schedule, how I was gonna go live. Um, and I pretty much did all my lives. I did all my lives. Then I talked about Kelly Bryant, the mom in Michigan that left her three children in a home alone for 5 years. That was an update. Then I talked about Johnson and Johnson awarded a family $32 million because their loved one passed away due to, I think it was mesothelioma. Mesothelioma. Can I pronounce that name right? Then I talked about, oh, this was for a video, foods for healthy hair growth. Okay. Avocados, flax seeds, protein, sweet potatoes, nuts, watermelon, Dungeness crabs, fruits and berries. Then I talked about the Baltimore Public Transit scavenger hunt. That was funny. Then I talked about the two pharmacists in Mississippi that committed fraud worth $786,000, healthcare fraud. Then I talked about the Baltimore gas station owner that was fighting a dirt bike citation. Then I talked about the Maryland lead paint inspector that had to pay $8.7 million because he was passing inspections illegally. Then I talked about the shampoo that was recalled because of bacterial contamination. Wait. Then I had a story about how to 6 tips to maintain healthy, relaxed hair. I love that story because this is a hair channel, so I really love that story. Then I talked about Miss Gabrielle Cheyenne, the young lady that rejected Usher at his concert. I talked about that. Then I talked about all the recalls, the food recalls, and yeah, the food recalls, and then the cyclo cyclosporia illness that's going around, the lettuce illness. I talked about that. Then I talked about the no, okay, cyclosporia. That was that. And this was the USPS letter carrier. I just talked about that today. Well, in my live earlier. And that's all I got in this book. So I filled this whole book up. Now, this is one of my old books. Let me see. Where does the book start off at? And this was the update of the mom. What is her name? Tatiana Williams. Of the two children that were in the car in Detroit, in the van in Detroit. This was an update. And I talked about, this was a video, benefits of using olive oil. Then This was my schedule for taking out my hair. March 22nd, braid takedown. March 29th, braid takedown done. March 30th, pre-relaxer routine. Had a head wrap. I haven't did a head wrap video in quite a while. But anyway, I was trying to make it an hour. So I will be live again Wednesday. Don't know what I'll talk about yet, but I will talk about something. So I'll see you guys in my next live.